Hello. Was it you who rang the bell of awakening? I am the primordial serpent, King Seeker Frampt, close friend of the great Lord Gwyn, chosen undead, who has rung the bell of awakening. I wish to elucidate your fate. Do you seek such enlightenment? Very well. Then I am pleased to share. Chosen undead, your fate is to succeed the great Lord Gwyn, so that you may link the fire, cast away the dark, and undo the curse of the undead. To this end, you must visit Anor Londo and acquire the Lord Vessel. I am pleased to see you well. Is it something urgent? Those who seek the realm of lords must brave Sen's fortress, a deadly house of traps. Many have gone before you, but none have returned. Fate has chosen you, but proceed with caution. Those who seek many fate. Farewell, chosen undead. I remain here and await thee.
Hello everybody, my name is Michael, and this is Dark Souls 1, and Jesus Lord, look at this freak. It's this horrible worm snake monster with a nose and horrible orange eyes and hideous, just look at the teeth, they're so dirty, and the horrible bloody gums, and it's got like a flesh mustache, and it just stretches on forever. It's just this hideous head. This person is King Seeker Frampt, one of the primordial serpents, and there is more than one. We can encounter another in the game. And this guy is a consummate liar. Whatever the hell is actually going on in the world of Lordran, this guy is feeding us a big line of bullshit. He is obnoxious, he is trying to trick us, he's not giving us the whole truth, or barely any of the truth if he's giving us any at all. He is a toothy serpent and should not be trusted, as of course serpents traditionally in Western culture are not considered trustworthy, they're considered evil, although not in Eastern culture. And the reason why I looked back and forth between the crow there and Frampt is the relationship between birds and worms, and birds eat worms, and that crow up there is a symbol of the goddess Velka, the goddess of sin. And the idea of the goddess of sin plucking away this toothy serpent is something we should all consider for the moment. But just for now, we'll play along with Frampt and pretend that he's being honest with us. Frampt has told us what our job is, and it is now to go through Sen's fortress and visit Anor Londo, the city of the gods. And in the city of the gods, we need to seek an item called the Lord Vessel. And that he does not make clear right now what exactly this Lord Vessel is. So we're just going to have to continue on with the game going through Sen's Fortress. And this episode, going through Sen's Fortress, is almost certainly going to be multiple episodes, because it takes so long to get through there and get all of the stuff. And I don't even know if we're going to be able to get all of the stuff. I've switched over, by the way, to the Iato. I'm not that familiar with this weapon next to the Uchigatana, so I want to test it out a little bit. Now, something very useful that King Seeker Frampt does is if we go to his screen here, it says feed item and feed Titanite. So what we can do is we can actually feed him various types of Titanite, and he will break it down and I suppose regurgitate it for us, like puke it out, again with the vomit, into a form that a lower form. So a large Titanite shard, if you give it to him, it'll break down into, I think, 4 or 5 regular Titanite shards. A Titanite chunk will be broken down into large shards, and so on and so forth. Blue and white and red, I believe, break down into green, and green breaks down into regular. We will never have to buy regular Titanite shards ever again, because we've been farming from the leeches down in Blighttown, who give us 5 green Titanite shards a pop, and each one of those can give us 4 or 5 regular Titanite shards. And I actually farmed so much down there that I got 99 green Titanite shards. I literally could not pick up any more. So I'm going to get a pile of regular Titanite shards and beef up my Yato over here with Andre. Yeah, you liar, whatever. Well, let's head down here and see if these guys have anything new to say. Nope. Nope. Stop. There you go. And unfortunately, as I mentioned before, the Firekeeper is dead. Firekeeper absent. We can't light or rest at that bonfire. So that means when you come all the way back up from Blighttown, you have to go all the way to Undead Parish, which is even farther away than Blighttown. And we can see the Firekeeper is dead. And we have her gear, which is actually not bad, especially the chest piece looks pretty good. And we also get the Black Eye Orb. That is something that we are going to need in order to avenge her death and kill Knight Lautrec, who is now in that Anor Londo, the previously mentioned City of the Gods. And it just says dead. I love that. Now let us head over to Andre. In Sen's Fortress, we can get a ton of cool stuff. Most especially, we can find Logan, the sorcery trainer's master, and he will now teach us sorceries. And we can also find well, let's see, what are we going to get first? We can get several large Titanite shards. So I think you can get 4 of them there. I'm not sure about that. We can get a couple of cool weapons, we get to see a bunch of neat stuff, and we get to fight a pathetically easy boss called the Iron Golem. So, when I first went to Sen's Fortress, it was a nightmare of difficulty, because it's been repeatedly referred to as a death trap, as a house of traps, and that's exactly what it is. It is a constant, never-ending trap that is trying to ensnare you and kill you. There are Pit in the Pendulum blades swinging from the ceiling. There are pressure plates that shoot spikes out, like in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like Raiders of the Lost Ark, there are also huge boulders that roll around that kill you. And the whole place is filled with these giant warrior snake people, sort of like the snake men from described in Volusia in H.P. Lovecraft. And this sometimes I notice I can sort of do what I call hitting the wall at this section of the game, because there is... I call it hitting the wall because my weapon suddenly is not doing the damage that I want it to. Even if I have it... I mean, you can beat the 2 Bell bosses at about +5 or so, but if you don't get that to +10, you're really going to be hampered against these snake men. They are really nothing to screw around with. There's been a leap in the difficulty from this part of the game to the next part of the game. And if you are not careful, you are really, really going to be bit in the ass if you don't upgrade your weapon. And I'm just toasting up this bonfire to +20. We're also going to be able to run in to a couple of NPCs in Sen's Fortress. One of them is actually Sigmire of Catarina. Nothing new? Okay. And Sigmire of Katarina, his quest line continues on from here. It doesn't really matter if you talk to him outside of the gate. You can talk to him from here, but we have to finish his quest line in this section in order to be able to continue it in the next, I think. And even if you don't, you can... I mean, it's Sigmire of Katarina. Why don't you want to help him out? He's a cool guy. Alrighty. Alright, good. I'm thinking in one of these, one of these levels, I might try the Gargoyle Tail Axe, a weapon I've never tried before, at least not to any extent. But I don't know. We'll see. What do we got with the auto? Still only a B, but I'm still getting plus 95 physical damage. Now, if you come up here, you notice the gate is open that giant in the last 2 episodes ago, I think, was so nice to open. And you'll notice right there on the floor, can you see it? You may not be able to see it, but if you look at it this way, you'll notice that one of the places on the floor, one of the tiles is raised above the others. There are multiple places in this level where there are raised tiles that are pressure plates, where if you step on them, then spikes will come out in front of you. 3 arrows will jut towards you and presumably kill you if you don't keep your shield up. We are going to try to kill some of the enemies in here with this plate. Let's see if we can do. Summon sign. Alright, let's head in here. And there are the snake men. Now let's hit the pressure plate. And you see one of them got damaged by it. Unfortunately, it takes 3 hits to kill one of these guys, so we didn't end up killing him. But still, you can hit him with all 3. These guys can be parried, they can be backstabbed. They're very tough, they have a good amount of health. And they carry a weapon called the Man-Serpent Greatsword, and I actually think this is a magnificent strength weapon, but I had a lot of trouble farming it. It's very difficult to get this as a drop, I think. And they also carry cool shields, but you can't get them. Why can't I get my cool shields? What the heck, game? Why can't I get my cool shields here? Well, whatever. So let's continue on to here. I actually think their Man-Serpent Greatsword is better than the Demon Great Machete. Let's check over here, get a soul item. And these statues are everywhere around here, and I guess they're supposed to represent the Black Knights, or maybe the Silver Knights that we meet later on, but for some reason the lower parts of them don't look like the Black Knights. They look almost like there are robes on the bottom or something. I don't know why they are made this way. That's sort of weird. And immediately in here, we are going to encounter those things. The Pit and the Pendulum Blades. This place was designed to be a sort of test your might zone. A place for you to be killed. It's sort of like the gods have set this testing ground to say, unless you can get through here, unless you can live, you can't access the city of the gods. And it was agonizingly tough my first time through here. I spent hours going through this place trying to figure it out, and I just could not. I was bashing my head against this, and it's very challenging. Very, very challenging. But first, let's go over here, and you'll notice this bridge here with this huge pit. Don't go in that pit just yet. We're going to jump to the left here. Hope. Let's hope. Come on, come on, come on. No! Shit. Don't die, don't die, don't die. Go, 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 go. Okay, that pit is filled with Titanite demons. I think there are 4 of them down there. And if he had hit me with that electricity blast, I would have been dead. Thankfully, also the floor there, because this is a house of death, remember that floor there is sticky. It's like mud in Blighttown, and you have to wear the rusted iron ring in order to move. Now, I didn't find this out for so long it embarrassed me. It was months and months before I ever found this. Just take a look at this wall here. And you can attack right through it. And remember that giant that moved the gate for us when we rang the second bell of awakening? Well, he's up here, and this is kind of a dead-end part of the game. You don't really need to come down here. But I like to do it because you do get rewarded with a Titanite chunk by killing this guy. He is obviously very tough, he's huge, he's very strong. I'm getting pretty good damage with the combustion. I beefed up my pyromancy flame considerably. He is... uh-oh. He's going into his tantrum. Shit. Thank you, Lord. He does go into this little tantrum mode. And but he tires himself out like a toddler who's raging about something. And he'll get back up eventually, but you have enough time to hit him right there. And we get a Titanite chunk. And that guy will not respawn, I think. And there's the Undead Parish. Look how beautiful that is. The church there, the clouds, the sun, the rays coming down there, the clouds moving, the city of the gods up there in Orlando where we're trying to reach. And look at that. Look at how beautiful it is, this church here. It's just amazing. Now let's head out here and go back into the horrifying trap-filled dungeon. And... weakness beating to a pulp. Okay. Now, one of the key things that we learn later on from a great man, a giant of a man, you might say, later on in the game, is that what is bravery without a dash of recklessness? As you play Dark Souls, you learn that being cautious is the difference between life and death. But also something that you learn is that in some cases, being slow is going to kill you. And if you charge right through something, you will likely succeed where someone who is slow might fail. The patient might get you killed. However, this might get me killed too. I'm trying to lure this guy to fall off, but he's just not. Come on. Come on. Come on. Fine. Play it your way, you big baby. And getting through this section is very challenging if you don't know where you're going or what you're doing. And these snake men are pretty badass. Now, we just ran into another kind of snake man, who I always assumed was female, so I guess it's a snake woman, a snake sorceress. And they shoot bolts of electricity at you, as you just witnessed. Now, not a lot of things have great resistance to electricity, so that can be a danger. They can also push you backwards slightly, and of course push you into or off into one of these blades, and then of course that would push you off the ledge here. There is yet another pleasure. Oh, sweet, we got a flamberge tits. I'm gonna, oh god, that's awesome. I'm gonna beef that up later and use that. I have farmed for that forever sometimes and never gotten it, and here I wasn't even trying and didn't even have any humanity, and I got it. Now there is a pressure plate right in front of us. Just immediately go right. You can use the pressure plate to kill that other guy that was running up there, or sometimes just run by him and deal with the sorceress, and the other guy will be too slow to get up here, or maybe he'll fall off. This is our first of 2 large Titanite shards here. I've used quite a few Estus Flasks. I've already used 5. That's quite a bit. And if we head up here and go straight over here to this door, this is funny. Ha! I love the way they introduce you to the concept that there is going to be a gigantic boulder in a Looney Tunes way crashing down on enemies. These guys can also bite. You know, just reach down and do like a bite attack. That seems very Dungeons and Dragons-y. That they can do like, you know, I can see that in the Monstrous Manual. Like they attack with swords, but occasionally do 1d6 for a bite attack. Now let's take a look at this dude bro down here. This is really puzzling, because initially I thought this guy was a merchant. Because if you go up next to him, look, he's just, you know, he's just standing there. You can target him, so he's clearly an enemy. I don't think you can target the merchants until you aggro them, so he's an enemy. And he's just standing here, like, just minding my business. Nothing going on by this wall. Nothing's happening. And yet, this is what causes us to realize that there's something going on back here. I did not figure that out. I accidentally figured it out when I began futzing about with those boulders later. But I'll explain that in a minute when we get over to where the boulders are. And we're going to run as fast as we can to the left, very fast, and there's going to be a fog wall, because this game is a dick and it's trying to kill us, so it gives us a fog wall where none should exist. And right in front of us, we're going to have a sorceress guy, lady, something, step out here any second now. Please, quickly. There's one behind us. It is imperative you get down here soon. Usually this guy runs down here. I was surprised. Now we obviously can be hit by that boulder, so we need to move very quickly. Okay, we were in the safe area. And if you come over here, you can get one of the most useful rings in the game. You can get the Ring of Steel Protection. The Ring of Steel Protection boosts defense versus physical attacks. The ring belonged to the Night King Rendel. It grants its wearer protection by boosting defense against physical attacks. Of the many legends surrounding the Night King Rendel, one of the most well-known speaks of his standing down a giant drake and slashing it to pieces. Night King Rendel is one of the badasses of the Souls games. And I believe that he was king of the Boulder Knights, or was he king of the Knights Berenique? Now you may want to run down here through this narrow corridor, but look, there's another pressure plate. And he takes his sweet-ass time getting over here, trying to goad you into launching it. You can see on the wall the holes that the arrows are going to come out. So, you have to be careful. Here, let's hope this kills him. Yes, it did. Good. And let's immediately go left. There we go. I'm actually going to put on the Ring of Steel Protection because this next area is very tricky. There is a boulder that is going to roll down right in front of us, just like it did behind, but we have to run up the path of the boulder and get there to the other section before a new boulder pops down, and they give you a millisecond to spare in order to do this. Be very careful standing on the edge of this wall here, by the way, because just touching the boulder, even when it's slowed down, can seriously hurt you. Okay, now let us do... Where are we going to go? I guess we'll go this way first. Down this way is where our friend... We can now direct the boulders down multiple places, and down that way is where our friend is. That was the... You may hear some thunder in the background. Who was standing there looking so inconspicuous. So, we can do some serious damage to him. I think we can kill him by doing this. I'm not quite sure. Let's see if we can kill him one more. If not, we'll just head back down there. And I think yes, we did kill him. Now we have to go down there ourselves because it has broken open that wall he was standing in front of. So let's move this back towards this direction and head right down there and see what we can see. And look who's down here. It is... That's a giant hat. That must be Big Hat Logan.
You seem quite lucid. A rare thing in these times. I am Logan. I'm a bit cooped up, as you can see. I have a bright idea. Suppose you set me free. I'm old and empty-handed, but I could repay you with knowledge and sorcery. This place is melting my mind. The inactivity is repressive. Oh, heavens! Thank you! I'm saved. And I'd love to resume my travels, but I must log a few things first, and I owe you a favor. I will return to Firelink Shrine. Speak with me there, so that I may impart my sorcery. Oh, hello. Don't mind me. Go on ahead. I'll be along later. Whoa, I'll be just fine, young one.
Can't unlock him without the Master Key, unless you spend some time later on in this level finding a special cage key that you can use to unlock him. But we have the Master Key, so it doesn't matter. Absolutely stunning, isn't it, out here? Don't try to jump off this like I did. I am not a bright man. And whoever wrote that message suggesting I do so, please please take a bath in acid? Now he will now return to Firelink Shrine. And we can continue on and find our next NPC of the area. This place is just full of people, isn't it? And that next person is Sigmire of Katarina. I'm unsure about where the boulders are, so I'm a little worried right now. And if we go up here... roll down... Is it here? Yes, it is. This is the Shotel. And these snake men are already on me. That's not something I was expecting. Ooh, 242. Okay, good. I've accidentally hurt Sigmire during this little fight with these two guys here, so just be careful of that. Let's talk to Sigmire here.
Oh ho! Ah, where did you come from? Splendid news, I tell you. Ah, so you see my plight. Yes, indeed. I've run up against a wall, or a ball, to be precise. I'm afraid I'm a bit too plump to be outrunning those things. So here I sit in quite a pickle, but who knows? Perhaps we'll have another development. Perhaps I could try some rolling. Bah, no chance. My head would spin.
Really is a brave knight. He's very powerful, as we find out later on in the game. But unfortunately, he has a rather bumbling character flaw, which allows him to just sort of sit there and not try to improve his lot. You know, he's not very clever. He's not willing to change things up to be adaptable in new situations. He makes things very hard for himself by doing that. And I don't want to disparage him all the time, because he is a cool dude, but he's not willing to take this kind of initiative to really change himself and improve his lot. Now let's head back up here, and I think I'm coming up just about on half an hour. I might be ending the episode here. So I'm just going to cut here and cut right back in with the new episode. I don't want to go over half an hour. I will see you then.